those are some really good questions, and a lot of this we really don't know the answer. And another thing you're thinking about, a lot of times we hear about the deep state.
Yes.
You have you have Congress that makes the laws, but the laws are administered by agencies. And one of the things that we've seen in the last 10 years is that there are a lot of people in these agencies. We even see it in Florida, which is a very red state. We even see people in these agencies that are could be pro-abortion. So when you have someone in an
Huh.
agency
Could be.
that's pro-abortion and is either looking the other way or approving things that really shouldn't be approved, approving funding that really shouldn't be approved, could that happen? And certainly it could happen, and we're going to need to hold the Congress's feet to the fire, and really, pray for exposure of wickedness and exposure of corruption, and that type of thing. And I had a
And some of
question.
these programs, now some of these programs, like for example, the block grants, those are ones where you not only have the federal government involved, right,
Right.
but you also have your state government. So
Yes.
whatever state agency is essentially involved in dispersing those funds, we need to have the same level of Doge. We need to have the same level of effective appointments and oversight
Sure.
so that we can ensure that those administrators down the line that are reviewing these grants and reviewing these disbursements are indeed doing their job to prohibit organizations that are providing elective abortions from receiving those funds.
And when you start thinking about states like California and New York and some of the other leaning states that have even said we're going to use state funds. If you want to get an abortion, you can't get an abortion in your state. We will actually pay for you to travel to our state to have an abortion. I mean, that's just evil when you're talking about what abortion is. It's ripping a baby limb from limb, crushing that baby's skull. There are other ways that babies are killed through abortion as well. But
So how come we don't have a racketeering action here? That well, I don't know if you can use RICO against a government agency, but there we all know that you have not just these elective abortion providers, but also various levels of either state or local government
yes,
working in tandem to ensure that the slaughter of these preborn children continue.
it's really sad. And when I was in Atlanta as a missionary to the preborn, I was actually arrested on the sidewalk praying because the police were working basically on behalf of the abortion clinics to actually arrest pro-lifers that were not even blocking the doors, that were just there praying on the sidewalk, peacefully praying on the sidewalk. We were even thrown into solitary confinement for having Bible studies in jail. And so even in a conservative state, even in a right-leaning state, it's important for everyone listening, whether you're in a liberal state or a conservative state, to realize that your voice has an impact and you need to stand up and you need to make sure that you're voting for pro-life legislators and that you're holding their feet to the fire, and that you're also holding their feet to the fire not only with the laws that they pass or don't pass, but also with the people that they appoint in these agencies to make sure that this money is not going to fund organizations that make their money on killing innocent human life.
Agreed. And this is why personhood education is important, as we can provide that information to not just our supporters, but the general public. Um, it gives us, for example, here in Georgia, as one of the Personhood Alliance affiliates, it not only provides us to kind of set the stage for the discussion. In other words, we want to frame the debate, but also it gives us an opportunity not just to educate, especially individuals running for constitutional statewide office, like the governor, lieutenant governor, the attorney general, and other related offices, that they need to realize that gone are the days when you will get a rubber stamp pro-life helmet sticker just because you have an R behind your name. We want to know, we need to see the same kind of shock and awe that President Trump brought to the table in his first 100 days. We need to see that same kind of shock and awe at the state level.
Yes. Innocent human life.
Yeah.